Hey, hey, everybody, I'm live. Yay, I'm alive. Happy to say so. Today's topic, by the way, is roommates. My name is Robin Da Vinci, and I have not really had roommates in my life because I've been married most of my life, but my children did, and my friends have had them, and I have a lot of experience with cleaning up the mess after roommates. So, what I'm going to tell you today is that no matter what age you are, this video will set you in the right direction. But I'm really trying to reach the young adults, teens, and parents who are sending their children off for the first time into a roommate situation. And at colleges, you sometimes inherit a roommate that you don't know and you don't get along with. But a lot of times, when you get out of college and you don't move back home, you're moving into another situation with roommates and you have to know the facts. Okay, roommates can be the greatest relationships you've ever had, or they can be total nightmares. You all know it. Whenever I say roommates, I see people in the room cringe. They just cringe and go, I've had the worst roommate situations ever. And here are some of the facts, and I absolutely will touch on it right now, but I can go into great detail with you because I know leases and rental agreements and utility deposits and what is expected. So the first thing about roommates is, who the heck are you going to be in a house with or an apartment with? And who are you choosing and why? Now, in the roommate situation at college, you often don't have a choice, but I have seen it time and time again where at the semester break or the quarter break, people leave their roommates or ask for changes, or some kids go home and some things don't work out. Knowing who, when you have the chance and the choice that you're going to live with, knowing who you're going to live with is so important. Put aside personalities for a minute. Do they have the money to live with you? What kind of money do they have to support their living arrangement? So, when we're talking about roommates, it comes up with that same awkward conversation: money. We don't talk to our teens about money. We don't talk to our spouses about money. Nobody wants to talk about money. And I'm saying, in your face, that's the thing you have to do. Have to talk about money no matter what. So, let's say there's four people trying to live together: two guys, two girls, three guys, one girl, four girls, four guys, doesn't matter. Firstly, what is their financial responsibility to that agreement? You're all going to be putting your signature on a rental agreement, and that rental agreement is a sworn signature that you are going to uphold the lease details. Every single term of that lease or rental agreement, you're going to uphold. You are going to determine in advance who pays what for their room. Sometimes, as my son did in college, he had his own room in a 5-bedroom house, and other people shared their room. So he had to pay more for a single room than someone who shared a room. You know that in advance, and so does your landlord. Now, believe it or not, you cannot keep substituting people in and out. Someone goes, I'm out, and they bring someone else in, and the landlord doesn't know. No, cannot do that. You cannot do that anywhere. That is not lawful to do. So if you're the adult that is co-signed on this rental agreement and your name is on that agreement, you better know who lives in that house. You better know what they're supposed to be paying. Do not stand back and say, well, my son really likes them, or my daughter's close to her sister, so they must be okay. BS. You need to know everybody's financial condition when they're moving in and what they've agreed to. Number one. And when they sign their name or you sign your name, they have to be in it for the long haul. If it's a 1-year agreement, no one gets to say after 4 months, I don't like it here. Really, if you don't like it there, tough bananas. You have to stay, or you have to go to the landlord, say, I'm taking my name off the lease. I'm suggesting this person, or can you put it up for rent? And guess what? The landlord can say no. The landlord can say, I'll find someone, but until I find someone, you pay the rent whether you live there or not. Here's another issue that nobody knows. If everybody skips out and your child stays, your child's responsible for the entire lease payment. I had this happen one time. Everybody skipped on my daughter. She had to pay until she got the roommates in. And then she got security deposits and we redid it. Why did they leave? They got into a fight, not with my daughter, but with each other. And they decided couldn't do it anymore. So you are individually or severally you are responsible for that lease. That means you have to pay no matter what. So if everybody doesn't show up on the 1st of October and your child's there, you have to pay. If you're a teenager that's watching this video, remember that you have to pay. The people you move in with have to be financially sound like you are, whether it's through student loans or it's financial help from your parents or grandparents or guardians, whether it's a scholarship. Everybody has to join and do the same. They have to pay their way. Utilities. Usually there is no rental agreement anymore for students where utilities are included. Why? Because kids, they spend much more in electricity, water, gas. They're not as careful. They keep the air on. Someone hasn't trained you or them to know what to do with utilities. So landlords say, oh no, the utilities aren't in my name. The utilities are in your name. You guys are paying those utilities. So there used to be telephone, electricity, water and sewer, trash, gas, and cable. So 5. So if there were 5 roommates, 5 people had to contribute to this. Well, at the beginning, people would put the bill in their own name. So let's say there are 5 roommates, there's 5 bills. Each kid took a bill and then would bill the other ones for the rest. That didn't turn out well because 2 of the 5 paid the bill on time and 3 of the 5 spent their money on beer or whatever, girls, guys, dances, clubs, and didn't pay their bills and the things were shut off. I know for a fact, my listening audience, millions of you, honest to goodness, have had that happen to you where the utilities were turned off because someone who said they would pay it didn't. So you have to come up with that in advance. Everybody puts money into the utilities pot at the beginning of the month, and there's an account, and then you write the checks out of there or you bill pay them. Everybody contributes their fair share. If you have 30% of the house, then you pay 30% of the utilities. The problem is with that is someone would say, well, he uses more electricity because he has 2 computers and she has more water because she takes 15-minute showers. It uses more water because she has 15-minute showers. All of that, you've got to come up with the arrangement in advance. Please, please, please do not put that structure in place after the lease is signed. You will regret it. You will really regret it. The other thing is that every single person in that house is responsible for a clean kitchen, clean bathrooms, clean bedrooms, not staining the carpets, not breaking a window, not wrecking the screens because you couldn't get in because you lost your key. All of those things, all of you are responsible for. So you need to think twice about who you live with because the landlord's going to take it out of your security deposit. What's a security deposit? The landlord says, I don't trust any of you. I want a security deposit. Sometimes it's 2 times the rent. So if this house for 5 people is $4,000 a month, he can ask for $8,000 and each of you have to contribute to that security deposit. If you guys keep up the entire house, have paid for everything, the landlord can't charge you much. Only the wear and tear, he has to clean the apartment after you left. But if you wreck screens and break windows, wreck the lock on the door, wreck the linoleum on the kitchen, break an appliance, it comes out of your security deposit. And trust me, your parents or whoever put up that security deposit will not be happy. You will not get it back. And what they'll do is you can say, but I never did any of that damage. Doesn't matter. He's going to take the security deposit of $8,000, subtract $6,000 worth of damage, and divide the 2,000 that's left with all five of you. So you'll get $400 each. And your parents will not be happy because a lot of times people want to take that security deposit and move it to the next place they live. If you don't get it back, you can blame anyone you want. But if you were there and you let it happen, it's as much your responsibility as anybody else. This is how we grow up. This deal where you move out and say, I'm an adult now, or I'm not a kid anymore, mom and dad, or I'm not a kid anymore, grandma. And then you move out and then something happens and there's a problem and you want to move back home like you're a kid again. No, no. In fact, at the place you're living now, you should be taking a lot more responsibility as you grow older and grow up in the house you live in now, so that it translates to responsibility when you have your own apartment. And I got to tell you, there are so many nightmare roommate stories, and you can change those nightmare roommate stories. You can actually build a structure where all of you live peacefully among each other, and that you are jointly responsible for the condition of the apartment, for the paying of the bills, and for the rent, so that nobody is in a fist fight over, some drunken night where the window got broken, or someone broke the lock on the door because they didn't have a key, or someone drove into the garage door, or people aren't taking out their trash and trash is piling up. I've got a funny story and I'm going to share it with you. I lived in Westwood for a while in an apartment near UCLA, and most of the people in the apartment were college students. Okay. Now I kept my apartment immaculate, and I kept the outside of the apartment building clean, and I would rinse down the garage door and I would sweep up. And the kids would have parties on Friday and Saturday night. And I would come down in the morning and they would have big bags of bottles and trash sitting on their porch. And so, because I was going down to the trash, I would take those with me and I would put them in the trash and I would go upstairs. I often baked these kids cookies. I mean, I was 47 at the time, and I would bake them cookies and I would say, oh, no problem with the noise. I'm not going to call the police. I don't care. You're young, have fun, just, stay out of trouble. So after a while, I noticed they were leaving the cans and bottles and garbage out on their patio porch. And so one time I came down and I said, guys, why do you leave this out here? And they said, oh, well, the building picks up the trash on Sunday morning, so we just leave it out. And I said, the building doesn't pick up the trash. I do. I live here, and that trash on your patio reflects on me when people are walking by your patio coming upstairs to my apartment. They didn't even know. They thought it was a service. So, you can be a little naive when you get your own place for the first time and when you get roommates for the first time, but take an active role in that roommate situation. Know who you're living with, know what it costs, budget properly, make sure you get a place you can afford, and make sure the people you're living with can afford that place. Divide it up equally. Unless you have more space than someone else, then you have to do math. You have to do a percentage and say, oh, I have to pay $100 more a month than you because I have a bigger space, or I have my own closet, or I have a bedroom and bathroom to myself, so I need to pay $200 more. Whatever is equitable, work it out, stick to it. Never think that everybody's just going to live together and have a lot of fun and have no responsibility, and somehow this place that you live is going to take care of itself. It's going to take work. Parents, get your kids ready for that. If they're seniors in high school and juniors in high school, start expecting things from them. You've got to. You have no other choice, because when they go out there, there's going to be a landlord who is also a parent who is going to hold your children to a standard. You can't afford not to teach them about this. This holds true for divorces, older children moving out for the first time, all kinds of relationships that go bad. You want to live by yourself, you're still going to have all these rules. You're just not going to have anybody to blame but yourself when it doesn't work. So roommates, huge thing. My website is robindavinci.com. I have tons of information about teen money literacy and roommates, where you have to budget money and join forces with a bunch of other people, or even one other person, is vitally important to your development and growth. It's education. We won't be a successful 30-year-old if we don't know how to be a successful 20-year-old, if we don't leave home at 18 as a successful teenager. You cannot hit all these benchmarks. You can't be 25 and not know what you're doing yet. You have to know. I know we live longer, and I understand that you want your child to have as easy a time as possible, but there are details that they need to know no matter what age they are. So join me in the Teen Money Literacy Program. Join me, keep looking out. I'm going to have much more information. You and your teenagers need to understand the responsibility of being a roommate. It can be a great thing or a nightmare. Let's work at making it a great thing. Thank you so much. Please like and subscribe. There's more information coming, and I just love this topic. Thanks so much.